the United States is reportedly considering to deal directly with Hamas to get the remaining 4 American hostages out alive of the Gaza Strip. The report said that the relatives of the hostages still held by Hamas have been calling for the United States to break with Israel and to hold separate talks to strike a separate deal for the American nationals. But it is not clear as to how a deal would work and what the US would in fact offer in exchange. Any such negotiations would be seen as very significantly undermining Netanyahu's government, which has so far failed in securing a deal. An Israeli official close to the official hostage negotiations was cited as saying that Washington has already begun looking at a unilateral hostage deal. The American hostages in the Gaza Strip who are still believed to be alive are Eden Alexander, who's aged 20, Sagai Dekel Chen, aged 35, Omer Nutra, who's aged about 22, and 74-year-old Keith Siegel. Anthony Blinken, the American Secretary of State, has said that nearly about 90% of the ceasefire deals had been agreed upon. Now, earlier, Trump's foreign policy advisor had urged Joe Biden to send the FBI to help the state of Israel with the hostage rescue. Now, Robert O'Brien, one of Donald Trump's top foreign policy advisors, have called for the United States to send the FBI and the U.S. special operators to Israel to assist with the hostage recovery efforts, adding that the U.S. military should be dispatched to recover any Americans alive. All right, now to give us more details on this emerging story, we're being joined in by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. Susan, what are you picking up at your end about these reports which now state that possibly the United States could strike a separate deal with Hamas to get the American hostages out?
Yeah, Mohammed, as you mentioned, this was a discussion between Jake Sullivan and the families of the American hostages. There are 4 remaining American hostages believed to be alive in Hamas custody, captivity, and that's what the United States was sort of discussing, saying that, quote unquote, all options are on the table to bring these Americans home. We've also been learning from NBC News that it appears that the United States says that they have a number of captives here and prisoners that Hamas may be interested in to do a prisoner swap to get those Americans back home. However, American officials are clear to say a deal that involves Israel is still the best option forward, but these discussions come at a time when the families of the hostages and many Israelis, as we've seen with the demonstrations, believe that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, is not interested in some kind of ceasefire deal with Hamas, at least not on the terms that the United States and mediators like Qatar want. It's also important to note that the United States actually thought and made attempts to make a unilateral agreement with Hamas about 6 months ago through Qatar, the main mediator.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with those details there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.